Bye. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye, you guys. Be good.
Every child deserves the opportunity to come to school and to be in an environment where they can learn.
Prepare, okay? Preparation is noun of prepare.
Americans, they need to catch up with other generation in the world.
Right now, you're up all night thinking, oh my gosh, what did I not cover? So closer it gets to testing, the pressure is tough. What's our word of the day?
Contrast. We weren't going to have national testing in the 90s because Republicans didn't like national and Democrats didn't like testing.
We need to have an infrastructure in our country that allows our kids to compete globally.
I wonder whether I could ask your favor.
Where We Stand, America's Schools in the 21st Century, hosted by Judy Woodruff.
Major funding for this program was provided by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation.
Hello, I'm Judy Woodruff, and I welcome you to our program. This November, we as a nation will be electing a new president. At the same time, hundreds of thousands of elections will take place across the country to decide the leaders of your state, your district, and yes, your school board. But we're also in another race, an economic one, and we are competing with countries around the globe. The outcome of that contest will have a lot to do with our schools. So tonight, we're asking tough questions about some of the most pressing issues in education. Are our students prepared to compete in the global economy? Are they getting the skills they need for today's workplace? How can we inspire great teaching? And what's the best way to fund our schools? For answers, we talked to experts across the political spectrum. We also visited Ohio, the classic swing state. In this election year, we wanted to explore the modern political truism, as goes Ohio, so goes the nation. But this program doesn't concern just one place or one problem. This is about all of our schools and where they stand.
The European Union and China graduate more scientists and engineers every year than the United States. In 1995, the United States was #1 in the world for college graduation rates. In 2005, it was 15th. U.S. students ranked 25th in math and 21st in science out of 30 developed countries. The question: in today's global economy, are U.S. students ready to compete with those around the world? Belpre, Ohio sits in the rural southeastern corner of the state, on the border with West Virginia. Here, globalization isn't a buzzword, it's a reality. Belpre's small industrial base, which grew up along the Ohio River, has largely moved overseas, and opportunities for young people are scarce. So when school officials learned of a program that would help the district offer Chinese classes, they thought it might give their kids an edge.
I had been reading some articles about the importance of American students learning Chinese, and especially the value that would be to someone in the business world.
That's how visiting Chinese teacher Bin Che came to Belpre. He has taught Chinese to middle and high school students here for almost a year. Back home, he's an English instructor in a large industrial city near Beijing.
It's very close to Beijing, just 3 hours driving. If you take the air flight, it takes 1 hour. It's a really big city, and we have more than 3 million people.
The school district doesn't pay his salary, but covers his living expenses and arranges his transportation.
I put my stuff here.
Why don't you put it on top of mine?
Okay.
Since Bean can't get a driver's license, he carpools to school with other teachers. Bean's experiences in America haven't exactly matched his expectations.
In China, when we think about Americans, we always think of like Las Vegas and also Los Angeles, New York, and Washington, D.C. Actually, we didn't think about, like the small towns in Ohio.
He imagined the schools here as cutting edge.
Before I came here, I found maybe here we should have more technological stuffs in our school, but actually the same as China,
When Bean arrived, Belpre's science lab had not changed in decades. Across the country, a third of 15-year-olds attend schools whose principals report their science equipment is below standard.
The chemicals are out of date. They're not stored in the way that they should be. It's just old. Things are breaking. You pull them out and they're broken. I mean, these are probably here when the school was built, and that was in 1960. There should be gas coming out of here right now, and it either is not hooked up properly or it's broken. It's really hard to turn. I'll have to get one of my strong students to turn it back the other way.
About 40% of the kids in the Belpre School District are economically disadvantaged, and only a quarter of its high school students go on to study at four-year colleges.
That is surprised me most because I found a lot of students after graduation from the high school, they don't go to the college.
In China, college enrollment has tripled in the last decade. By 2015, it is estimated that China will have twice as many college graduates as the United States. In the U.S., the college completion rate has remained flat, while in many developed countries, it's increased significantly.
It's not that the United States has changed, but the world has changed.
The real global competition is how many engineers you can produce, how many PhDs can you produce. Can you create an intellectual class in your country that can compete with America and take our jobs? And this is war.
How are you? How to say in Chinese? 你好吗? Yeah, very good. 你好吗? That is
Chinese teacher Bin Che admires the creativity and energy his students bring to class, but not their work ethic.
I think they need to work hard, you know. They need to catch up with other generation in the world, like the Asia, like Europe, like Britain. They should pay more attention to their study, you know.
According to one study, Chinese students spend twice as many hours on schoolwork as American kids. Chinese is the most widely spoken language in the world, and in the U.S., about 24,000 middle and high school students are studying it. But in China, as many as 300 million students are studying English, starting in the third grade.
I wonder whether I could ask you a favor.
18-year-old Roger Lemley discovered Chinese in his junior year at Belpre High School. He's one of Bean's best students.
I was just looking for something different, and it was the first year that our school offered Chinese, so I was like, well, you know, give it a try. And then I fell in love with it. You know, they say 1 in 5 people in the world is Chinese, so that's, you know, a fifth of the world's population I can talk to.
Roger wanted to study Chinese in college. He considered a state school, but that was before he looked into the price. Tuition at Ohio State universities runs about $8,500 per year, among the highest in the nation. Around the country, tuition at public universities has doubled in the last 20 years to almost $6,000.
Marine Corps! Come on, guys, strong finish! It all came back around to the price tag, and the Marines said that they'd pay for all the college I wanted, so that was a huge benefit, too.
Roger decided to join the Marine Corps. He plans to continue his language studies in the military and work towards an associate's degree. Bean couldn't understand why a bright student like Roger didn't go directly to college.
I think the government should provide the opportunity for students to go to the college. But he is very optimistic, you know. He is very happy because he can join the Marine and he can go on studying Chinese.
Roger's mom, Lisa Fott, says the family would have scraped together the money to send him to college, but she supports his decision to pursue his education through the military.
The way the economy is now, if you don't have an education, you have nothing. You have to have a high school diploma to even work at McDonald's nowadays. I don't feel like there's anything here for the young kids. Now, a lot of the plants shut down.
125 miles away, outside of Columbus, 16-year-old Finnish exchange student Annie Kuitunen is having a very different school experience. Annie's studying at Olentangy High School. The prosperous suburban district is the fastest growing in the state of Ohio, and just opened a new high school, its third. Rated as a blue ribbon or excellent school, Olentangy offers 15 advanced placement classes and many electives. More than 90% of its students go on to higher education. Yet even speaking English as a second language, Annie has excelled here.
I've had pretty much straight A's since I came here. Except for the first quarter, I had 1B. B+, but that was just because I was just getting used to the language and speaking it.
Finnish students routinely top international tests of math and science. Annie says that her high school classes here don't compare with those at home.
High school in Finland is harder. It's just harder tests and different styles of teaching, maybe.
Dear Lord, bless this food we're about to receive. Amen.
Amen.
Annie lives with a host family, Julie and Joe Kiplinger, and their 2 kids, 14-year-old Taylor and 15-year-old Matt. As with many American families, the Kiplingers bought their home largely because of its school district.
Well, the main reason coming here is because of the school system. They're known as a blue ribbon school. They're very well known for their teaching abilities, their staff, their academics, and their graduating rate.
Julie signed up to host exchange students to broaden her kids' horizons. The Kiplinger family says Annie's given them all a new perspective.
I knew nothing about Finland. I didn't even know the place existed, really. I knew there was, the continents and stuff like that, but I had no clue about the smaller countries that were inside.
Yeah, we're learning on geography a little bit better now.
Yeah.
Taylor is hardly alone. American students suffer from a notoriously bad grasp of geography.
Some people are just like, oh, where's Finland? Is it in like some state over here or something? I'm like, no, it's in Europe.
75% of young Americans can't identify Israel or Iran on a map. 9 out of 10 can't find Afghanistan. In fact, almost half can't locate the state of Ohio. And 3/4 think English, not Chinese, is the most widely spoken language in the world.
When you hear Annie talk about her life back home, and you realize that not everything rotates around the United States.
Julie, who coordinates training at a nonprofit, sees her kids' future here in the States, and it's bright.
Annie says all the time, you have every opportunity here in the States to do whatever you want to do. And Finland is pretty limited, unless you want to come abroad. There are great opportunities here. I just believe in that.
But Joe worries, especially when he thinks about the competition his kids will face.
I'm looking, 20, 30 years down the road, and if people in other countries are going to school, doing a better job, there's a possibility that the higher end jobs could be heading that way too.
An auto technician, Joe has his own concerns about keeping up with the fast pace of technology.
When I first started, we used to take things apart and fix them. A starter, an alternator, brakes, wheel cylinders, whatever. You took it apart and you fixed it. Nowadays, it's just all the computer stuff. By 2010, to be a mechanic, you're going to need an electrical engineering degree to understand all the electronics. When you open the hood of a car now, it's just like, wow.
Okay, both are in.
That's so cute. Oh, Annie, you look so cute.
Annie hasn't settled on a career path yet. In her time in Ohio, she's made a lot of friends and improved her English, which she's studying along with Swedish, German, and Spanish.
Mi familia y yo, el verbo es traer.
One thing she won't be bringing home, though, is any credit for her year abroad.
Well, I'm a junior here now, so I'm going to be a junior again in Finland because this year doesn't count as anything in the Finnish high school. The courses are so different in school, and I think it's because the courses are a little harder in Finland, so they can't get the credit from here.
Last year, educators from more than 50 countries traveled to Finland to study its top-performing schools. English teacher Jana Björklund-Voila teaches in Annie's hometown of Espoo, just outside of Helsinki. She credits Finland's success on international tests to her colleagues.
Well, I think firstly it's the teachers. The teachers are very well educated in universities. I think secondly it's partly because of our teaching methods. I think the students are encouraged to think by themselves.
Analyst Andreas Schleicher agrees. He's the director of the tests that the Finnish students score so well on.
There are some common patterns that we observe among the education systems that do best on our assessments. They set very clear and often ambitious national standards. Those countries also back their expectations up, usually with very strong support systems for teachers.
Now time to underline Paggyel and underline nousta hienoa portaikkoa.
In Finland, it takes about 6 years to become a teacher. All teachers must hold master's degrees, and only about 10% of applicants are accepted into teacher training schools.
I think it's a very popular job. It's quite difficult, yes. The entrance exam is quite tough.
Although the profession is competitive, teachers' salaries in Finland rank as average.
If you look to Finland, the world's top-performing education systems, they don't pay teachers much more than in the United States, but they offer them a very different working environment.
Finland has a national curriculum, but teachers and principals are free to design their own lesson plans and even choose their own textbooks.
You have quite a lot of freedom and independence when you plan your classes, but of course you have to stick to the curriculum too.
Jana teaches summer school at Tapiola Upper Secondary School in suburban Helsinki. The students choose to attend either to get a jump on classes they need or to get extra help.
I didn't get a summer job, so I had to do something. And, well, it's only 4 hours here a day, so we have lots of time for girls after school.
Finland underwent a comprehensive school reform in the 1970s.
Can you translate it, Eric?
Now, younger students aren't separated by ability at all. In high school, kids choose an academic or vocational track. The dropout rate is less than 1%. For those who qualify, college costs nothing.
Finland has very limited natural resources. We have the forest, but that's the only thing we have. But we have the people, and investing on the education of the people, that's the thing.
In fairness, international comparisons of student performance don't account for societal differences, factors that weigh heavily on student achievement. Only 5.3 million people live in Finland, and most of them are middle class. The Finnish government provides generous health and child care for all its people, and the country has a strong national culture. In contrast, the U.S. has more than 60 million school children from diverse backgrounds and a large gap between rich and poor students. Despite these challenges, the U.S. has been an economic powerhouse and a leader in innovation for decades. Still, even skeptics agree that we have things to learn from the rest of the world.
It would be ridiculous ostrich-like behavior to not look at how other countries are doing in terms of the results they're producing. That does not mean we should slavishly emulate the Japanese education system or the Finnish education system. But we really ought to be making sure that our kids learn as much as their kids do, somehow.